Hello guys, welcome to the first episode, the introduction of this series where we are going to learn about Vue, and we are going to develop a full-featured system, employee management system with Vue, uh, and we are going to integrate with the backend API that we have for fetching the data of an employee and then showing those properties, values on our application. This tutorial is going to be a very hands-on, training. And we are going to have 10 episodes. And in these 10 episodes, you are going to learn so many things. If you do not know anything about Vue and you want to learn how to use Vue and you want to learn the concepts of Vue, this is the perfect place. You know that on my channel, I have already created trainings for other frameworks and libraries like React, Angular, and Vue is another useful library that can be really interesting and exciting to learn. So I have decided to kind of create this playlist to walk you through building a real application uh, during which we are going to, learn so many different concepts and we are going to be able to implement them in our project. And that will give you a solid understanding of, Vue and its features. And you can, leave this course being equipped with the required skills to build scalable modular applications. As I told you, we are going to have 10 episodes in this training, and these are the things that we are going to cover in these episodes. So these are the, let's say the topics of this training, and we are going to not only understand these concepts, but also we will see how to implement them inside of our application. Let's talk a little bit about, these topics, and then in the next video, I am going to talk about the, first episode. So first off, we are going to set up our project and routing. We will, set up the project. We will install the dependencies, and we are going to create different views for listing, adding, and editing employees. The data for employees come from a backend API. So we are going to see how we can, integrate with a backend API. Then we are going to talk about state management using Pinia. So Pinia will help us to have centralized state management for managing the data of employees. We are going to integrate Pinia inside of our application. We will do deleting, updating, and fetching using Pinia. We will talk about components because Vue, like Angular, React, or even Blazor, have this, it has this idea of components. So we will create modular components, like for example, employee list or employee form. These will be responsible for like one business functionality, like for example, listing employees or adding a new employee or editing an employee. We will talk about the communication between components. Of course, even though components are very modular and isolated, they need to be able to communicate with one another in a loosely coupled manner. So we will introduce the concepts of props and emits to introduce communication between parent and child components. We will talk about form handling and validation because of course we want to collect data using forms and then we want to send that data to our backend API, for example, when we want to create an employee. In this scenario, we will talk about vModel, which is used for data binding. We will talk about, handling form submission, and we will introduce validation rules. Then we will talk about refactoring. So we will be able to, replace hard-coded logic extract them into reusable components, and we will be able to simplify our code base. We will talk about, loading states and handling error, providing feedback to the user when we are loading some data from the backend API, or when, for example, we are handling error messages that our application encounters when it wants to fetch some data from the backend API in a asynchronous manner. We will talk about composition API. So, basically, there are different approaches when you want to build components in React. One of them is composition API. Composition API is useful because it helps you organize the code of your component, the logic, and we will talk about, things like computed, watch, reactive, and setup. We will talk a little bit about code structure and composables, things like, for example, options API, composables, creating custom composables. These will help us to be able to, reuse our code and achieve separation of concerns. And of course, because we are going to integrate with a backend API, I'm going to touch upon some topics, some best practices when it comes to, communicating with a backend API using Axios, for example. And the outcome of these 10 episodes will be a full-featured application which supports create, read, update, delete on an employee model class using the best practices in developing front-end applications, using reusable components, centralized state management, robust and solid error handling, and best practices when it comes to software architecture in terms of front-end applications. And I'm gonna introduce many concepts of Vue, and I'm gonna implement them one at a time inside of our application. And from this course, when you finish watching these videos, you can continue watching the other videos that I have on the channel about other libraries, frameworks, or even Vue. You can for example, continue learning about the more advanced topics. You will, of course, find playlists on the channel about those more advanced concepts as well. One thing that I want to tell you before I let you go is that I have on my other monitor, Visual Studio Code, I have set up a simple Vue application. I'm going to use different branches. As always, right now I am on this main branch, as you can see, and I have the application running on my local machine. So this is the application. We do not have a lot of code. It is like a bare bone simple application, but little by little we're gonna complete it, we're gonna develop it, we're gonna add features. So that's it. It was like an introduction video for what we are going to expect in this series, and I hope that I have whetted your appetite and you're excited like me about this course. Thank you so much for watching this video till the very end. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye-bye.